Hello and welcome back to another edition of the greatest wedding show by Crown DJs. It's been about 2 weeks since the last time we did this, and I got a few interesting topics for you guys for today's show. First, we're going to get into our poll question that we did yesterday that I asked what were some songs that belong on your do not playlist. And then I'll be sharing with you guys the top 15 bridesmaids names in at our weddings. Only Crown DJs. I don't know about any other weddings, but in 2020 and so far in 2021, will your name make the list? You'll have to see where you rank in popularity as far as bridesmaids names. And if you're new to the show, a part of our initiation process is that I ask you to leave a comment with your wedding date and where you're having it. And I just love to know who's watching our show. Okay, so leave the comment what date you're getting married and where you're having it, and we'll welcome you to the show. My name is Derek, and I'm a professional DJ here in Lincoln, Nebraska. I'm the proud owner of Crown DJs. And if you haven't hired someone to pack the dance floor at your reception yet, all you got to do is just go to crowndjs.com to set up consultation with myself or one of our great associate DJs, and we'll take care of you. For each show, I like to start by talking quickly about the last few weddings that I've worked since our last episode. And since it's been a few weeks, we've had three so far, or well, since then. So let's talk and go all the way back to August 7th when I went a few miles east of Council Bluffs, Iowa for Kaylee and Clay's wedding. It was at this beautiful venue um, called Fountains Ballroom, and it's located in Glenwood, Iowa. They did the ceremony outside, then had the reception inside. And it was rainy all day, but the rain held off just enough so that we could do the ceremony without anything getting wet. Then by the time the dancing was ready to kick off and start doing some dancing, uh, it stormed really hard. We lost some power, but the crazy thing is the power loss. It was only out for like a minute, but it actually made the party that much wilder when the power kicked back on. But it was a great wedding. So congratulations to Kaylee and Clay. Then the next day on Sunday, August 8th, I went to Wilderness Ridge for Aaron and Aaron, guy Aaron, girl Aaron, wedding reception, and I guess ceremony too. It was a super hot and humid day. You would have guessed that we just rained the whole night before, which it did. Uh, but other than that, um, I usually don't get to see the groom during the ceremony, especially in that moment when the bride's making her way towards him. And in this moment, I hope Aaron's okay with me sharing this, but I didn't. I got to see his face, and he was all choked up, and it was a bit surreal to see the emotion in that moment because I've only really seen it on video and maybe a few weddings here and there, but in this exact moment it was truly special, and it kind of like got me a little choked up just seeing how big and how special these two were to each other. So another highlight from that night was Scott Frost. So Scott Frost was in the house for this wedding. So this picture right here is from Aaron and Aaron. Got to use our cold sparklers. But Scott Frost was in the building, and the bride and groom got to take a picture. The head football coach from Nebraska football. And then we fast forward to last Saturday when I went to Columbus for Mike and Carter's wedding at the Ramada Inn. It was, a lot of fun, and it was probably the longest dance that I've had this year because we started the first dance at I want to say about 7:15, and we had the dance floor packed all the way up until midnight. Um, for every wedding, they were all great crowds, and uh, and even better couples to serve. And I'm so honored that I had the chance to be a part of such a great celebration for such great. On the other hand, Georgie got the chance to DJ this past weekend at Robbers Cave, which is a really cool located venue located somewhat near like 10th and Van Dorn area. Um, Georgie was DJing for a couple that I went to high school with way back in the day. Their names are Adam and Jamie. And even though I was super bummed that I couldn't be there to DJ their wedding, I was super honored that they chose Crown DJs to be there for them. And couldn't be happier for them and all our couples. So congratulations going out to all our couples that got married the last 2 weekends. This weekend, I'm looking forward to Carly and Bill's vow renewal in Columbus. They were having their ceremony scheduled for last September. COVID got in the way, plus some family health issues, and so they decided to get married in Colorado instead. Postponed the reception, and now they're kicking off the festivities to celebrate with their friends and family on August 21st. So big time. We're going to get crazy with them. They'll have the photo booth. They'll have me as their DJ, and then Georgia will be DJing in downtown Lincoln for Shane and Brittany's big night. We're excited for both of these weddings. So, everyone that follows us on Instagram will know more about this, but every once in a while, we'll do something fun on the Crown DJ's Instagram account. And yesterday, we polled our followers asking them the open-ended question, what songs belong on your do not playlist? And we shared some of those more popular responses with everyone. And some of the songs that got submitted were Chicken Dance, WAP, Cupid Shuffle, what is it? Cotton Eye Joe, Single Ladies, Party Up by DMX, Nickelback, Low by Flo Rida. Uh, then we put each song submission back in our story to ask our followers, is this a skip or is this a play? And as you can see right over here, this is the exact screen. And some of the results were not so surprising, but some of them were. And I was actually shocked by a lot of them. We're going to dive into this. So now it's important to point out that our age range of followers on Instagram range in their like 20s and 30s, and weddings are way wider than that. They have 7-year-olds and they have 77-year-olds at these weddings. So this is going to lean a little bit more biased towards the age range of 20s and 30s. Um, but let's get into those results. So when it comes to your wedding playlist, we asked our followers on Instagram if Chicken Dance was a play or if it was a skip. And an overwhelming 77% of you said that it is a do not play, which is a good thing because I'm a bit more hesitant to play the Chicken Dance. And if we're going to play a kid song, I'm much more likely to lean towards some of the more recent stuff versus the stuff from like 1952. But that's not always the case. Anyway, this leads me right into the song Baby Shark. And we got a whopping 6% that said, yes, Derek, go ahead and play Baby Shark. Otherwise, the 94% of you were like, hell no. This was the most lopsided result out of everything that we asked. And I think it's pretty clear that most of you don't want to hear Baby Shark at your wedding. So don't expect it to get played unless you ask for it. I actually played Baby Shark at last weekend's wedding because the bride's dad asked for it since there were so many kids out on the dance floor. And it didn't quite clear the dance floor from like the younger people dancing. Um, but it definitely changed the vibe a little bit. The nicest thing to say about this song is that it's not very long. Okay. So if it starts playing and you're like, ugh, just wait it out. It's like a minute 30 to 2 minutes. It'll be over before you know it, and we'll get back to some bangers. But so far, I agree with all you. I put Baby Shark and I put Chicken Dance on the Do Not playlist. Sorry, you can hear my dog over here. But let's keep it going. Next up, We have Cardi B, WAP. So all of you know this song by now. And when it comes to playing it, for some obvious reason, it's probably the most popular requested song at weddings right now. I'm getting multiple times or multiple requests multiple times throughout the night for WAP. And to me, it's crazy that I'm getting this request at like 8:15 in the evening. That's just way too early. You still have grandma in the house. You still have who else? You have like little Susie dancing, and I don't think little Timmy leading a group circle of dancers is going to be appropriate if WAP comes on at 8:15. So when it comes to playing WAP at your wedding, 65% say skip, and then 35% say play. And that's way higher than I was expecting. I was expecting like 95% say skip and 5% say play, but apparently you guys want to hear Baby Shark less than you want to hear WAP, which okay, that is what it is. You know, it's priming you up, getting you ready for what you're going to be doing after the wedding night's over. So it is what it is. Give them some instructions and get down to it. But let's take a look at these lyrics. Let's break it down, okay? And you tell me if you want this played at your wedding, because I'll be honest, it's kind of raunchy. So I'm not going to say the swear words, but beat it up, inward, catch a charge, extra large and extra hard. Put this P word right in your face, swipe your nose like a credit card, hop on top. I want to ride. I do a Kegel while it's inside. Spit in my mouth. Look in my eyes. This P word is wet. Come take a dive. I mean, do you want to hear those words at your wedding? The P word. I'm going to say no. And it's obvious that those lyrics stay on brand with that kind of messaging throughout the rest of the song. And as someone who is reading the crowd throughout the night, and if you're on the dance floor getting after it, getting weird, and this song comes on, I love it. Okay. But also, I have to see all these dirty looks coming from the seats with grandma upset, Aunt Betty upset, giving me a dirty look. So for that reason, I usually play it around 10:30 or 11. And then, I got a quick story about WAP. Okay. I played this song a couple weeks ago, and I had this guy in his 40s or 50s come up to me and say, I cannot believe you're playing this song. This is the most offensive song I've ever heard in my life. And I didn't know what to say because the bride specifically came up to me right before I played that. And she goes, play WAP, and don't play the clean version. And I was like, it's your wedding night. I'm going to play whatever you want. Okay. If you're out there getting after it, you're having a good time. I'm going to say what you tell me to, I'm going to play what you tell me to play. So obviously, I'm going to cater to the bride and not some easily offended middle aged dude that didn't even touch the dance floor once. The first time he stepped onto the dance floor was to walk across it and give me a complaint. So, he wasn't on it all night, and he's obviously not going to book Crown DJs before that, but especially now for any type of event. So, we played WAP. So, when 35% are saying WAP they want it at their wedding, I'd imagine that they would agree not to play it early in the evening, right? Meaning, like, yeah, we want to hear WAP, but don't play it for the first song to open up the dance floor. Don't play it at 9 o'clock. Wait till it kind of balances out on age, and then throw it on. But this brings a valid point when you talk to your wedding DJ about the music that you want to play. Okay, Are you comfortable with songs like WAP playing that night? Because it's extremely popular. It's really popular when it comes to requests. And if you are comfortable with it, do you want them to play the clean version or do you want them to play the explicit version? And I'm going to be honest, the clean version of WAP isn't that clean. Okay. Instead of wet AP, it says wet and juicy. What do you think they're talking about? I don't listen to the radio much, I'll be honest. I don't listen to like KFRX or any top 40 hits or anything, but I'm going to guess that WAP doesn't get played on the radio. Just assuming, but it might. But it's too far for me. So when it comes to weddings, we always try to have a clear understanding because some people are okay with raunchy twerk songs and explicit lyrics, and others want it completely off limits. Make sure that your DJ knows which side you're on when it comes to that fence and with songs like this. Then we had a submission for apple bottom jeans, which is probably the most common way for someone to request Low by Flo Rida and T-Pain. I'm not going to lie, even though this song is a bit of a throwback at this point, I think it's still, I think it's like 12 to 13 years old. And I still throw this one on at many of my weddings because everyone knows it word for word. And the dance floor tends to fill up when the song comes on. But I've slowly started to kind of ease it off just because it's probably considered overplayed. And the poll question or the poll said 70 poo, 70 poo, 72% of you agreed with me, which still means a bit too, like to me, I thought that was a bit too low because I was expecting it to be well over 80%. Um, but I think the reason why many of you voted skip is because it's probably overplayed and it's even more overplayed at weddings, and I can understand that. Then I got a submission for Nickelback. This band, for some odd reason, has gotten shit on ever since they hit mainstream radio. Um, and there's some really big Nickelback haters out there, and I get it. But when it comes to Nickelback, this was surprising to me. 62% are saying go ahead and play something like Rockstar, Animals, something in your mouth, which might be a little bit inappropriate, but if you're playing WAP, you might like something in your mouth. What a sentence. But last spring, I did a wedding at the Talon Room where the groom made a rule that his buddy had to take a shot every time the DJ played Nickelback. So that entire night, uh, his friends were requesting Nickelback like almost back to back to back. And there was a point where the groom just said, "Hey, can you play Nickelback for like 10 seconds, 10 songs in a row?" And he had to take literally, and he came up to me just absolutely wrecked. And he's like, "I hate you, man. I hate you." And I was like, "Why is that?" He's like, "Because I got to take a shot every time you play Nickelback, man. What the hell?" I was just like, whether or not you like or dislike Nickelback or things like that, turning bad music into a game is always fun for the crowd. That's why DJs play like Rick Astley, Never Gonna Give You Up, things like that. And then for the next song, it was another request where they used lyrics instead of the song title. And this case, I'll be honest, this is how I get the majority of my song requests is they use the lyrics and not the song title. It's funny is people will say like, "Can you play Back That Ass Up by Big Sean?" And I'm like, is that even a song of his? I'm pretty sure it's by Juvenile, and Big Sean was like 7 when that song came out. I feel like if you call yourself a music lover, then you got to use the song title. But Just kidding. It doesn't matter. Someone submitted Party Up, like Party Up by DMX. And I'll be honest, I don't play this song enough at weddings. And 76% of you agree, saying that this song needs to be played at your wedding. So, starting this weekend, I'm going to start throwing it into the mix more because I was expecting this to be a bit lower. But it was really popular, and I need to throw it into the mix more. And someone turned in Single Ladies, and we all know this is the bouquet anthem. Ever since Beyonce released this song back in '08, it seems to have become everyone's choice for getting single ladies on the dance floor and doing the bouquet toss. It's firmly held that position for over a decade. Well, about a decade. And then about 2016 or 2017, brides, at least my clients, started picking different songs to be their bouquet toss. And that made me really happy. And now we're here back in 2021, and suddenly Single Ladies is back as the choice for bouquet toss because about three-fourths of my weddings are wanting it played. And I'm not mad about it by any means, but there are just so many songs besides this that you can play for your bouquet toss. And if you need help picking out a song other than Single Ladies, just let me know and I'll send you our Spotify playlist that's packed to the gills with songs to choose for your bouquet toss. But when it comes to Single Ladies, 57% of you said you want to hear it on your wedding. And then we got a submission for My Neck, My Back. Here we go, people. And I got to say, this has suddenly become an incredibly popular request at weddings this year, especially like in the last couple months. Not sure why. Like, can somebody tell me in the comments? Tell me in the chat. Was this like, did this make an appearance on some Netflix show or some TV show or movie? Because it was released in like 2002 or something, and it's kind of like WAP. It's like the WAP of its own era because it's super raunchy, really inappropriate, but drunk white chicks love to get freaky too. So, you know, it's like these 25-year-olds are coming up and requesting it, and I just think about it, 25 years old. This song came out what 19 years ago. So like I just have this image of a 6-year-old back in 2002 leading a group circle dancing to My Neck, My Back while like drunk white chicks are just twerking for him. So they probably heard it for the first time at a wedding. And when they should have been home and in bed, they were out on a dance floor and not dancing to songs that, you know, booty shakers are out doing. But anyway, 73% of you said that you did not want My Neck, My Back played at your wedding. And I appreciate that. But that still is weird because 27% of you said you want it played at your so I got super curious. Like I had to pull my phone out and I had to go look at who picked yes, play My Neck, My Back, and who said uh, play WAP. And I was expecting those to like mesh, right? I was expecting people that picked My Neck, My Back to pick WAP. And, because they're the same song, just basically 20 years apart. But, you know, I was surprised to find that there were people that said, I don't want WAP, but I do want My Neck. and there are people that said I don't want WAP or whatever. You know what I mean? So wasn't that consistent in the results. Some people like My Neck, My Back. Other people do not like My Neck, My Back, but they do like WAP. It's just weird. Very inconsistent, which made this really hard to analyze. And then next, of course, we had Cupid Shuffle, which is still a very popular song at weddings, despite almost being like 20 years old. You know, I don't particularly like playing line dances, but crowds here in Nebraska absolutely love them. And I don't know what it is. I don't agree with it, but it is what it is. We got to play it. You guys voted 60 to 40 in favor of Cupid Shuffle, which isn't surprising at all because it's one of the most loved and most hated songs at weddings. And, it still gets the dance floor going. Even if you hate it, you're still probably going to go out and do it because everybody's out there having a good time. And it's just how it is. And then for our last song submission into the Do Not playlist was Cotton Eye Joe. And this is another one like Cupid Shuffle. That's super popular in weddings, but it's also one that I don't play too frequently, unless it's a country heavy crowd with lots of cowboy hats and big ass belt buckles. And if I see those on a few guys, then I usually am like, all right, you know, boot scooting boogie and Cotton Eye Joe, here we go. You know, but you guys voted and said 57 to 43 not in favor of Cotton Eye Joe, which isn't surprising at all. You know, my taste tends to lean with the crowd. I'd say, doing this for a long time, up to 15 years, I'm not surprised. But on seeing these results, you can start to form a thought around what kind of music you want to have played and not have played on your wedding night. You'll see that there are a lot of songs that you dislike, but the crowd may want to hear. And I think it's important to ask yourself if you're okay with that. Uh, the problem with the do not playlist is that there will be guests at your wedding that are going to request that to be. And it could be literally just because they know you don't like it. I try to handle these requests as professional as possible by saying something like, "Sorry, but Cupid Shuffle is not going to get played tonight. I could play something like this, and I could say like Crank That by Soldier Boy or something." And this typically goes over fine. It's not that controversial, but there's always that one aunt or friend who doesn't take this too kindly, and then they go up to the bride or up to the groom or up to the bride's dad and they bother him until I play it. And I see these happen every once in a while, and that's why I tell you to be careful with what you put on the do not playlist. Even if you put something like Cupid Shuffle on the do not playlist, if you say like no line dances, instead of saying that, say like just limit it to two line dances. And in that case, I might space them out so that, let's say the dance starts at 8 and we're going till 11. I might play a one line dance song at like 8:55 and then the other one at 9:55. Those are our two. That's all that's getting played. If you're not following us on on Instagram, the Crown DJ's account, then you're missing out on some really fun games that we play, and it's especially happening in our IG stories. So before I go any further, I just want you to pull up the Instagram account on your phone, go into the search, and type in at Crown DJ Co. Then go to our profile and click follow. This was something that I was asked a few weeks ago by just conversation. And it was, what's the most popular bridesmaid name that you see these days? It was a very odd question, but it really got me wondering. So I busted open my notes from the past like 2 years and started running the numbers. So last week I went through my entire list of like 75 or more weddings, and I wanted to find out what names were the most popular for bridesmaids at weddings for Crown DJs. And then I ran polls on Instagram last week asking you which names you thought were and weren't on the list. And here's what we got. 87% of you said Savannah and Abigail would definitely be in the top 15. And then, 75% said that Ashley would make the cut. 68% thought that Monica was on there. So I got the list. I got it right here, okay? Got it right here. And we're going to go through it. So number 15, this is the top 15 list, the most popular bridesmaids names at Crown DJ weddings in 2020, 2021. So number 15, Savannah. Number 14, Abigail. 13, Brittany. 12th most popular, Sarah. Specifically with an H, but I'm counting the non-H's in there too. I'm saying it's the same name. Number 11, Alexis. Number 10, Amanda. Number 9, Samantha. This is a lot of us right here. Number 8, Hannah. 7, Lauren. 6, Elizabeth. The 5th most popular bridesmaid name at our weddings in 2020 and 2021. 5th most popular, Jessica. 4th, Ashley. Top 3. Number 3, Taylor. Number 2, Nicole. And number 1, the number 1 most popular bridesmaid names at our weddings in 2020, 2021. Can you guess it? Let's pause for quick. Dramatic Effect, Addison. So, from that list, what was the most obvious and most shocking? For me, it was that Madison was number 1 because I didn't realize that it was such a popular name back for babies anyway, back in like 1990s, late 90s, early 2000s. But it makes sense. I have a cousin named Madison. It's funny how many photographers I meet named Madison, how many brides I've had named Madison. I just had one in July. I don't know if I have one. I have one for sure in 2022. But I've done multiple weddings where Madison was either a bridesmaid, a bride, or a photographer. And then also Taylor is an extremely popular name, but only ranked third. I was surprised that Nicole was so high. I didn't notice how many Nicoles there have been at wedding parties. Um, but yeah, I didn't realize that Taylor was such a popular name for brides or bridesmaids till now. And if I had to go back, I would guess that Taylor's probably my most popular name for a bride. But that's a wild guess. So there you have it. The top 3 bridesmaid names in 2021 and 2020. Taylor, Nicole, Madison. That's all the time we have for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. It's kind of low key, you know, kind of low key, kind of, I was prepared for this week, but last week I didn't really have much to share with you guys. I did want to share the bridesmaids' names with you last week, but, you know, I didn't have much else to talk about. And then yesterday we did that, poll on Instagram and, things went off. We had probably like over, I want to say, over 500 poll submissions. So, I mean, like, it was insane that Baby Shark is by far the most popular hated song at weddings. So let's say that again. Baby Shark was the least popular song at weddings. And, you know, I forget what the number 1 was. Hold up. Number 1 Could have been, I guess. Well, that's awesome. I don't have it on my phone. So I'm gonna guess. Let's just go through them again. Low by Flow Rida, and honestly, Party Up by DMX. Those were probably the two most popular songs for the playlist. So if you guys have songs that you'd like to add, maybe next week we're going to talk about must plays at your wedding, and maybe I'll talk about it here on the show. Appreciate everybody for hanging out with me, joining me on the live stream, and once again, also hanging out for the playback. Leave your comments. Part of our initiation is tell us your wedding date and your wedding venue. I hope you guys have a fabulous weekend. Enjoy yourselves, and I'll see you guys next time on the greatest wedding show by Crown DJs.